Hey guys, if you're listening to this around Record Store Day, or even if not, I'd just like to say you could stop in a few places in Northeast Ohio and pick up our vinyl, Hymns from Some Small Town by Third Class. In the Youngstown area, Friends Specialty, the Knox Building's Corner Shop, Geo's Music, and then in Columbiana, Ohio area, Generations Coffee. Also Tremont area in Cleveland, Ohio, Loop Coffee and Record Store. Go check it out. Support local music. Happy Record Store Day. And maybe come to our show at Susie's Dogs and Drafts on Phelps Street, April 18th, Record Store Day 2015, where we will be playing a benefit to send Tribe of Eos to California, baby. Also, I don't want to soak up all the glory, so I'll use my powerful platform to also say, hey, it's not all about Third Class. Go see the Foo Fighters play in Niles at noon on Record Store Day, okay? There. I've done my charity for today.
Yeah! Now let's fire bombs off, okay? Okay! Okay? Ready? Fire 1! Fire 2! Fire 3! Fire 4! Fire 5! Fire 6! Fire 7! Fire 8! Fire 9! Fire 10!
Nursery and all of the trees crossed over the dawn, and someone's parking lot sold my whimpering thoughts, and I'm on the next train. You and me, can't you see what this means? In the light of a torch, realize nothing is forced, nothing is forced, nothing is forced, nothing is forced.
It's raining, it's pouring, I'm really boring. Hey guys.
Ghost stories in the dark.
Ghost stories in the dark.
Ghost stories, ghost stories.
Ghost stories in the dark. Ghost stories in the dark. Ghost stories. Ghost stories. Ghost stories. Ghost stories. Ghost stories. Okay.
That's it.
Guys, welcome to Nursery podcast. You know, this is my friend Brandon. We are standing in the rain in East Palestine, Ohio. We just went on a walk. And what we used to do as kids is we used to go on a walk to Circle K all the time. That's it. Brandon, why don't you tell them who you are and what you do?
Hi, I'm Brandon Hall, and I help out with Bullskit, and I walk to Circle K with Lee sometimes. That's pretty much it.
So, if you guys are not regional and you don't know what Circle K is, it's the coolest thing in the entire universe. They have, gas station stuff.
They have gas, bottled drinks, coffee, hot dogs on heated rulers, and fountain drinks as well.
Can you believe it? Anyways, we used to go to Circle K and get this weird energy drink that was on tap called Go Ape Energy. We became obsessed with it because it was obscure, weird, and what the hell was it? It was red, it tasted a little bit like battery acid with tons of sugar and salt in it. It was advertised as a sports drink, and it was just soda that was red with like salt and sugar, and it was just weird. But this is all true, by the way. We went there, we drank it. They started to change it up and put a different fountain drink in the place of it because it wasn't selling well. Then we filled out little survey customer cards. And we were like, bring back Ape. And they did bring it back. And then they took it away again. And it's never been back since. And no lie again, I know it's hard to believe because it's so prestigious, but we run a Facebook page for Go Ape Energy, which is the only real Facebook page for the drink. And so everyone's always like, when's it coming back? And they're always asking us stuff. And we're always like, it's just a fan page, brah. It's just a fan page. In short, we're really, really, really stupid.
Yeah.
I miss you. This doesn't mean that you miss me. I heard you coming to my city, but you didn't even tell me. And this just makes it harder to keep breathing. And this just makes it harder to keep breathing. And this just makes it harder to keep breathing. And this just makes it harder to keep breathing. I love the way you love me. I love the way you love me.
So, anyways, we used to drink energy drinks when we were younger. And one night, something went down that wasn't so great. You want to tell them what that went down, Brandon?
Yeah, so one night Lee decided to step up his game in the energy drink category, and he decided to get NOS instead of Go Ape energy drink, because apparently Go Ape just wasn't cutting it that night. And it was the worst mistake of his life.
So, I got a big bottle of NOS, nitrous oxide something, whatever it is. It's a ridiculous energy drink that's not good for you in any way, shape, or form. It gives you way too much vitamin B, a bunch of guarana, and too much caffeine. And I just chugged the whole bottle or can or whatever it was.
Probably washed down some sort of prepackaged hot dog meal. And it didn't have a great effect on his digestive system.
Right. So, and side note, one time I was at a show with my brother Jack, and we stopped at Dunkin' Donuts / Baskin Robbins / Circle K on the way home, and my brother Jack commented and said, "Dude, you eat all your meals at gas stations. There's something wrong with you." And I've since matured a little bit and eat a little bit healthier, but not a whole lot has changed. But anyways, so we're walking up the hill, and all of a sudden I stop in the middle of walking up the last little hill that leads to my mom's house. And I'm like, I can't, no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong about that. We were walking by some train tracks.
Yeah, we were
halfway.
farther away from our destination. We were farther away from his home.
Yeah.
So when things really took a turn, he was a little too far away to have a convenient restroom. But stomach started growling, and he started slowing the way he was walking and taking smaller strides. And you could tell something was definitely not right. And clearly it wasn't agreeing with his stomach.
So then I stopped and I did the thing where I just delicately, gingerly just kind of planted my feet, and I was like, hey guys, it feels like I'm gonna poop in my pants here. It just feels like I'm gonna poop in my pants. And they're like, you can do it, man. I'm like, I think I can. I'll take a few more steps. And I was like, no, I'm pooping my pants right now.
Well,
and
I mean, did we point out the fact that when we do these walks, it was never at a normal time? It was always at 1 or 2 in the morning, when absolutely nothing else was open other than the 24-hour gas station. So it's not like he could just walk into the nearest fast food place and use their bathroom.
Right.
It was either poop your pants or somehow wait until you got all the way home. And that wasn't an option at that point, apparently.
Those are your options in a small town. Poop your pants or wait till you yell at him. So Steve and Brandon very intelligently advised me to pull my pants down and poop on the sidewalk. And I was a little self-conscious, so I was like, no, I don't want to do that, as if pooping my pants was better. And so then I just, I could have just pulled my pants down real quick and pooped all over the sidewalk, but I didn't. So I just started pooping down my pants. And
now, I mean, This is true. My wife and I were actually talking about this story over dinner earlier tonight, and we actually debated what would be messier, to actually just poop in your pants, or if you were to pull down your pants, like Steve and I suggested, and poop on the sidewalk. You'd have a whole different issue of like backsplash hitting your shoes and socks, and
Right.
I mean that's a whole different problem. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like it was just like a lose-lose. You were gonna get poop all over some portion of your body.
Yeah.
It was just debating which portion of your body you wanted to get covered in your own feces.
That's true, but with the gusto with such gusto that my body avoided itself of all poison that was in it, it made its way to my shoes anyways. It came down my pant leg, and it just like it was like, if anyone's ever like just put a pair of jeans on like a dummy, that's
Wait.
common.
Hold on. I actually remember the way you were describing it, because you had, at this point when you were telling me the feelings you felt, you had already fully pooped your pants, and you actually said that you've made a mold of your own pants made out of poop. Do you remember that?
Yeah, now that you say it, I do. And so then after that, I was like, all right, well, I already did it. We're done. So we were like, let's just walk over the bridge to this little laundromat that was about, a few feet away. And I ran inside the restroom. It wasn't close enough for me to poop, and because seriously, it was one of those weird things where I just took one more step and couldn't help it. My body just was like, get this out of me. And so and then I was like, okay, let's go to the bathroom in the laundromat. I went in the bathroom in the laundromat. There's barely any toilet paper in there. It's a laundromat bathroom. And I go inside there and don't do much to help myself, but just try to clean up a little and poop the rest of the poop. Or whatever's left.
Oh, wait, you pooped more in that bathroom?
I don't remember. I think I probably did, but how could I possibly?
What's the point of that? Like, you might as well have just kept pooping.
Well, you're right. I don't even know why we stopped there. I went in there and tried to dump. All I did there was like turn my jeans upside down and dump it into the toilet. And then I put them back on.
I feel like that would probably make it so much more uncomfortable, because then,
Probably.
if you're pooping your pants, obviously your poop's going to at least be the same temperature as your body. So at least it's kind of comfortable-ish, as comfortable
Yeah.
as poop is going to be. But then you stopped and you took your pants off, then that poop becomes colder than your actual body temperature. So you're sliding your pants back on with cold poop,
Right.
which I don't know, but it has to be worse than
Right.
warm poop. At least the warmth of it's somewhat comforting. But to have cold poop all over your pants, like all over your legs and your butt, like that's not
Right. So we've established that the trip to the laundromat was basically useless.
Yeah.
So then we turn around, walk back home, me trudging around with poop, a mold of my pants in poop form in my pants, or what was left of it. We walk up the hill now for real to the house. Then my brother Steve Boyle just joined us. You want to tell him what we did when we got to the door of my mom's house?
Well, I remember, let's see. I remember Brandon and I preparing the shower in the restroom ahead of time, like, so that you could get in as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
So we turned the shower on, got towels ready, had the doors open, the curtains ready, and did you take your clothes off on the porch?
Yeah,
is that right?
I was trying to remember.
No.
At what point did you get naked before you?
I think we'd like to remember it like cartoon-like, where like I got naked outside and
That's
ran through
how
the
I
house
remember
naked.
it.
Yeah,
But
and there was poop on your penis.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, when you were running, you had poop all over your naked body.
in a cartoon world, let's just say that's what happened. This is like any podcast. We're embellishing a little. So yeah, I got naked outside, ran inside, and ran
Covered
into
from
the shower.
poop head to toe.
Yeah, poop head to toe somehow. It was in my hair.
Yeah.
And then ran into the shower, jumped in the shower with a loofah, and loofah'd my pants, loofah'd myself. And
The loofah's still there.
And we bathed you.
and then they bathed me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that's the story of me pooping. Sorry, guys. I know that's gross.
It's also the story as to why the laundromat in East Palestine shut down.
And what we were doing tonight, what made us think of that and reminded us of is that we took a little walk to Circle K in the rain in April 2015 in East Palestine. So just as like a little, like, let's do what we used to do thing, because in 2005, that's what we did almost every day. And now it's 2015.
Yeah.
We pooped in our pants every day.
Everything other than the part where we filled our pants with poop.
Yeah. We did just go to Circle K and drink that Go Ape. We previously mentioned. It was horrifying. And then we'd make skits and do our Bullskit stuff, and it was fun.
Every single one of you has the ability to kill me. Doesn't even have to be particularly clean or fancy. Using almost any object and a little bit of force. Anyone could take me by the throat and rip my life, of course. What's the thing? Hey, hey! Every single fucking person that's ever gonna meet me, a closer person now, leave their eyes passing on the street. Because you had a balance, or could please ask for fun. I'm drinking things, I'm looking for any type of fun. So thanks to all you gracious people for letting me survive. 'Cause every day you alter me, the fact that we're all going to die. Hey, hey! Every fetus on a body, every cancer we cure. Just a lazy sacred cycle that comes from dirt to truth. It's about resistance, it's a permanent to see. Because all of you in this room are alive because of me. So thanks to all you gracious people for letting me survive. 'Cause every day you alter me, the fact that we're all going to die. Every single one of you has the ability to kill me. Doesn't even have to be particularly clean or fancy. Using almost any object and a little bit of force. Anyone could take me by the throat and rip my life, of course. So thanks to all you gracious people for letting me survive. 'Cause every day you all delay the fact that we're all going to die.
I would like to just point out the fact that I think that when the Go Ape energy drink was discontinued and we petitioned for it to come back, I really just think all they did was change the sticker on the fountain to say Full Throttle, where I really think part of the thing that we fell in love with was the logo of Go Ape, which was...
Dude, let's go back.
It was a
Let's go right now.
It was a cartoon.
It's still there. It's there.
But yeah, if you could imagine, this logo was an...
Have you tried
It was a
it? Has
cartoon.
anyone tried the Full Throttle?
I don't know. It's probably the same
No.
thing. It has to be. But anyway, I said it real quick. The sticker on the Go Ape thing was just a gorilla. It wasn't even an ape. It was a gorilla lifting weights. And it just made it feel like, wow, that's a lot of power. We should drink that. Like, that's really cool.
He was lifting a dumbbell and a baseball in the other hand.
Oh, that's right. Why did he have a
With-
baseball?
I don't know, and then he had like a sleeveless shirt on too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like that's what we were really initially drawn to is like, you know, the first time we approached it, we were like, hey, let's get some pop. And then we're like, whoa, here's an ape holding a dumbbell and a baseball. We should probably try that drink. And, and then when they switched the sticker and it just simply said Full Throttle and like some weird like Monster Energy white trash lettering, it just wasn't the same thing.
Right.
But I feel like if we just fashioned some sort of sticker that looked the same and put it over the Full Throttle,
Then we would just fool ourselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
Full Throttle.
Well, it's definitely a... Yeah.
Isn't that what like racism and sexism are and stuff like that?
No.
I don't know. That's deep, but the the idea though, I'm sure listeners could relate, is like, ooh, there's a limited Reese's Easter egg for Reese's, or there's Mountain Dew game fuel for World of Warcraft.
Reese's eggs.
There's a new version of Doritos 3D. We better try them. Like,
Yeah, that's what Go Ape was. It was just one of those, whoa, this is a thing that we should probably try. And it tasted bad. It was good. It was the best thing in the whole world.
yeah.
So, Brandon, let me ask you real quick. What is it that you consider yourself religiously?
Atheist.
Atheist. And what is your song you would be stuck on an island with if you could only pick one song?
I don't know. I have to think about it.
Okay, we'll come back to that one.
Okay.
What do you like about Ohio, or dislike?
I like the fact that in Ohio there are small towns where you can safely walk to the gas station at 2 a.m. and not worry about getting mugged. And, you know, I feel like people in Ohio take things like that for granted.
Now that was racist. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And then, what do you think of when you hear the word nursery?
Ellen's old house,
Nice.
to be honest.
And then, did you pick a song?
You know, at this point, I'd have to, like, honestly, anything by Casper Baby Pants because that's all I've been listening to for the last 6 months now that we have our daughter. So
That's
I've
right.
really fallen in love with that. So I can't pick one specific song, but I would just listen to Casper Baby Pants because it does like make me happy because it's what I listen to with my wife and my daughter all the time. So that's what I'd have to say at this time.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good choice because I did want to, not that I have much of a platform, but I did want to say to our listeners, Casper Baby Pants is a project of Chris Ballou, who is the lead singer and bassist of the Presidents of the United States of America. They're most popularly known for their first self-titled album that had Lump and Peaches and Kitty on it. But I just wanted to give a shout out to them because, guys, they're still playing and they're better than ever. Their albums are awesome. Their live performance is killer, and they just are one of the best bands that I've ever seen. So whether you buy their album or you go see them or you maybe just, grab a Casper Baby Pants album for your kid, maybe just support the cause because you're going to love, almost guarantee you're going to love it. Like everybody who hears it is like, I like this. But, guess that's it. Anybody want to add anything?
Yeah, the Presidents are awesome. That was my favorite concert I've been to, and I've been to a Hanson concert before. So
And just to point out, like, it's not a nostalgic thing. It's like, ooh, I remember when they were popular in the 90s. Like, they actually are still awesome. So it's not even just one of those weird things where we're living in the past and wanting to listen to those bands because we liked them when they were popular in the 90s. Like,
Yeah. The only nostalgia that really came from seeing them, and Steve's referring to seeing them at the Grog Shop in Cleveland, Ohio, was that they hadn't played there for 13 or 16 years. So it was their first time ever playing the song Cleveland Rocks in Cleveland at that little venue. And it was, to us, momentous because it was so much fun. But Brandon's right. Their new material, it kind of reigns supreme. So,
definitely.
all their albums are good, but you'll probably like the new material as much as the old. If you hear it, it's great. And they're very small now, but that's kind of the beauty of it. You can go see them at small venues and shake hands with them. And then I saw them at Altar Bar in Pittsburgh, and it was a ridiculous, fantastic show. And it was right at the release of their newest Kudos to You album. And then their other album we saw in that Grog Shop was them releasing These Are the Good Times People, 2008 or 9. And then one last thing I want to say about them is I don't usually like to talk a bunch about Facebook and Twitter. Like I know in one episode I talked about social media, but I don't want to get caught up too much in cultural commentary. But Seth Rogen tweeted something about them months ago, and he was like, man, I really regret never seeing the Presidents live when I had the chance. And me and 100 other people attacked him. And we were like, you're an idiot. They're still here and they're better than ever, you douchebag. And I don't like getting caught up in things like that where you're like, Game of Thrones, right? And stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying it's not me. So, but I couldn't help myself. I was like, listen, man, they're here. They're queer. Get used to it. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, guys. Well, if anybody want to add anything else, Brandon?
Not that I can think of, no.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to us in the rain. And can you say, hey, Mom, or look, Mom, we're on a podcast, and say something to Kate, to my mom, if you'd like to give her a message through this instead of in real life.
Look, Mom, we're on a podcast. KB, can I have some bee pretzels and banana bread and biscuit crust pizza with broccoli all over it and pizza rolls and everything else that you always make, because I miss it and I love you.
Thanks, man. And for those who don't know, like you care, B pretzels, L pretzels, and S pretzels are what she used to make for us. Brandon, here are your B pretzels. Lee, here are your L-shaped pretzels. Steve, here are your S-shaped pretzels. And we used to argue and be like, hey, those L pretzels are better.
The bee pretzels tasted the best.
L pretzels taste better than S pretzels. S pretzels taste like garbage. All right. See you guys. The music on this podcast, in order of appearance, was performed by Third Class, Sexy Pig Divas, Stuffy the Sidekick, which I'd like to give a special shout out to because they are a toy punk band from Chicago. And they're just happen to be one of my favorites. We've never played with them, but I just happened upon them searching through some cool punk music on Bandcamp. And then after that appears Bitter Alms, and then the very ending, again, Third Class. Check out thirdclass.net, bullskit.com. Look up all the band names I previously mentioned. Check them out. Give them your support. Thank you. This podcast is sponsored by the Orange Avocado, providing gluten-free and raw desserts.
Hey, it's new, improved tape recorder. Happy birthday, Jack.